So hi there, welcome to lesson 5 in module 4. Now we'll be talking about the keep and drop commands, powerful commands in Stata, and then you get to know what's the best use for both of them. When do you use keep, when do you use drop, because it seems they do the same thing. So without letting the cat out of the bag, let's go straight to the lesson and let me illustrate how they're different. So before you hear, we have about 10 balls. Yeah, 10 balls here. So we want to explain how it works, and they're all in a straight line. So if I said to Stata, for example, keep red ball, this is likely what you are going to find. All the red balls will remain in data set, but anything that is not red will be dropped. That's what's interesting. So what we mean keep, what we mean is retain this in the data set, and retain this, and any other thing apart from this should be removed from the data set. So keep is almost like the opposite of drop. So if I said drop red ball, now we said keep red ball. So what it does is it removes red ball from the data set, and any other thing apart from red ball stays behind. So that's how this wonderful and powerful command works. So, and what I mean by remove, they disappear from the data set. They are removed from the data set, and that could be a challenge. I will talk about that in the next couple of lessons, but just understand that principle first. Keep keeps, drop drops, and then always remember that anything that is kept is retained in the data set. Every other thing that does not meet that condition is removed from the data set. So just to highlight a few things again, drop drops specified variables or observations. That's what the drop job does. It works for variables and it works for observations. I will tell you when it's working for variables and when it's working for observations. Keep retains specific variables and specific observations. It means that any other thing that is not within that condition is taken away. Okay, now let's look at the syntax for keep. Simple syntax. Keep values. Now this is when you are focused on variables, you keep the values. But keep if, once you see keep if or drop if, you are referring to observations, and then you specify the conditions for the observation. So that's why there's keep if and keep in. So this is how it looks like. So we have keep if income equals 1, or keep in 3 to 4. So it means 1 and 2 and anything after 5, they're all dropped. Keep these following variables: candidate, income, and pfrac and frac. It keeps that. Every other thing is dropped, and the inverse happens also for drop. So drop if, it means every other thing that is not 1 is kept. So I'm sure when we do the practical session, this also will be very clear. So just the same way to drop works the same way with keep. So I'd already explained that in the previous example. So you drop and then you keep. And remember the balls I showed you. Keep red ball stays. Every other ball is leaves the data set. Drop red ball drops. Every other ball is kept. So people often ask me, when do you use keep, when do you use drop? So just the simple rule of thumb is when what you want to drop is very little, I think you should use drop. So let's assume you had 4,000 variables, and what you need to drop is 3. You just need 3. Drop command would be good. But if you had 4,000 variables and all you need is just 2 variables, then keep command makes sense. Otherwise, you now have to say drop this, drop that, drop this, drop, and there's a longer line of code and more time. So if you have a sense of what you are dropping and what you are keeping, then it determines which command you should use. So I hope this is useful. Let's see in the practical session to shed more light on this. See you in the practical session. So hi there, welcome to the practical session for the keep and drop commands. We had just finished in the previous one, describe and codebook. Now we want to look at keep and drop, powerful commands that greatly help us to extract what we want to focus on, if I want to use that word. So let's see how it works for this data set. So I'm going to use them. Now keep and drop have a very powerful, so let me just clear my screen so you get a fresh screen. Keep and drop have a powerful way of changing how the data looks. So we have to use them. We can't use them like we did for codebook and describe. They're very powerful. They change the nature of, and it's like irreversible, sort of. So I will explain shortly now. So let's look at the data we were watching, which was the NLSW data. So there's an ID code, there's age, there's race. So if I said I only wanted to keep ID code, age, and race, what happens is that all the other variables will disappear. So let's try it. So I say ID code. One of the ways of doing it is you can select what you want here. Since it's side by side, you can copy and then come and paste, just tip. So try all these things. As I do the practical session, I will illustrate one tip or the other, and then we'll practice it. So keep only these three variables. So even though I selected married, by the time I run this now, I will only see these three variables. And how you see it, look at your data. Your data set is now indicating three variables. But when you opened the file first, it was not so. It was 28 variables. Now you have said keep. So, and the variables you are keeping are three. In the similar vein, if you said drop, so what happens is that the whole 28 variables will show, but three of them will drop, and this will now become 25 variables. So let's try it. So you see, we can't find age there anymore, and this is how we do. Let's check for age. There's wage, there's age 3. Let's check for race. There's no variable called race there, so they've been dropped. So that's how it works with variables. So I'm not going to dwell so much on the variable portion, but let's take a look. Let's go back to what it was, full 28 variables. Now let's say we only want to keep those who are 40 and above, or 40 and above. Yeah, let's do that. So keep if. So that's where you use the if statement and keep if age is greater than or equals to 40. So just take a look now at this data set just before I run it. So when I do that and I run, so everyone in this data set is either 40 years old or greater than 40. Now the observation is 998. Initially it was 2,246. So that's what the keep variable does. It keeps every other thing outside. All the 20s, all the 30s, all the 10s, if there are any, they are all dropped. Now if I say drop, what it does, it goes through the data set, and if your age is 40 and above, it expunges you from data set. It drops you off from data set. So let's look at that too. So you can't find anybody in this data set that is 40 years and above. It has dropped. And you must recall that this was 2,200 and something, so some have dropped. Now let's now start applying our logic. If you remember, we have to apply our logic. So let's drop if age is equal to. Now we're doing some things we have done in module 2. Just add a bit, piece to piece so that you get to master it. So I'm going to use the or statement here. Sorry, need to change the keyboard back. Minute. Yeah. Okay, so that's the or statement. Please go and check module 2 videos. They are there. So how we arrived at that. And I mentioned for the or statement that they have a wider margin. So let's keep if age is greater than 40. Now let's note what everything is. Everything is 2,246. But now we're going to keep if age is equal to 40 or if married. Now to be able to select, you don't say single. Single is 0. If you look at the value here, married is 1. So if you want that, you say keep if married double equals to. We want singles too. Either you are single or you're above 40 or you're both. That's what this basically means. So if you're above 40, it will pick you. If you are single, it will pick you. That's how it works. Okay, so let's run. So if we find anybody in this list that is less than 40, just check the person is single. If you find anybody that is married on this list, just check the person is more than 40. So this is married, it's more than 40, that's why it was selected. This is married because it's 40 and above, that's why it's selected. Let's look for another married person. So it has a wide range. That's why I say, oh, if you remember the rice and beans story we had, you remember it has a wide range. But if I use the AND command where I say I want both to be conditions, now let's see what happens. So I want anybody above 40 and anybody who is single and above 40. So you see it narrows down. So here you have single and here you have 40 and above. And you see that the observation is less. So all these are the things I want you to practice. This data set, if you are using Stata, is already in your file. So please use it. Please use it judiciously, and just try to play with it. So you could use 30 or use married, or you could use you are looking for all black singles, fine, in data set, or all black students who had not graduated from college, so there are quite a number of things you can play around with, or all manufacturing people who are more than 0, who are more than 40 or less than 10 or something. So if you look at it, whatever you want, a share of categorical variables which are a bit tricky, this is manufacturing. Manufacturing has a value of 4, so you can see it right here. The value that you selected is 4. So when you say industry equals to 4, it brings out all those who are in manufacturing industry. So that's how it works for keep and for drop. So please keep dropping till we see in the next video. I hope this was useful. Please don't forget to like and share this video. There are quite a number of people who are going through a tough time understanding Stata. If this video has been so useful to you, you can imagine how many more people will need to watch something like this. So share your networks, share among your colleagues, share among your students at school, share among your friends and colleagues at school. Please, let's keep sharing the link, and then click on the notification button, because there are quite a number of videos coming that will greatly help in your journey of understanding Stata for data management. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.